been well established that sound waves can change a person's mood. Whether you're cleaning the house or getting in a good workout at the gym, it all seems to go so much easier when you're listening to your favorite tunes. Now the medical community has embraced sound therapy as a method to heal the body. Joining us today with more on this subject is yoga teacher and Reiki master Kris Kearns. Welcome to the program, Kris.
Thank you so much for having me.
So what is exactly sound therapy and how does it influence our body?
So sound therapy is the use of sound and sound vibrations as a therapeutic modality. Sound therapy has been linked to release of hormones, as well as providing a reset for the balance between the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous system in our bodies.
So does that get off with stress, or if you're not feeling well?
What can happen, especially in today's culture, we function more in our sympathetic mode than we do in the parasympathetic mode. So the sympathetic mode is the fight or flight mode. And we're stuck in this mode with the computers and the lights, the artificial light, and we just, the angry emails from your boss. So what ends up happening is you get so immersed in this fight or flight mode, you don't reset the body and move into that parasympathetic mode, which is the rest and digest. That's where all the healing happens. That's your body, the blood flow goes into the internal organs more, and the body is set up for healing and restore.
So let's talk about some of these fun toys you brought with us for sound therapy and how they work. And would you use these in like a yoga session, or doctors are using them in surgery? How does it work?
So I use bowls and tuning forks and Tibetan bowls with my yoga sessions. I use them with yin yoga classes. Yin yoga is a slower moving yoga class where you hold the poses for 3 to 5 minutes. It enhances the natural movement of the joints because you hold the pose, but the muscles are relaxed and you're applying pressure to the connective tissue. And that connective tissue releases a biochemical that draws moisture to that area of the body and then gives more mobility to the joint. So I use the tools during the class, playing the tools, whether it's the bowls or the tuning forks, at certain points in times as we go through the sequence, and we're holding the poses for that 3 to 5 minutes.
So can you demo one?
Sure.
And what kind of bowl is this?
This is a fired crystal quartz bowl. It is for the note of G. And this is related to the throat chakra. So when we would be doing fish pose or rabbit or one of the other yin poses that focuses on the throat, shoulder stand, we would be playing this. And so there's the sound and the sound vibrations.
That is very loud.
Yes, could be, yeah.
So the vibrations are what we're feeling.
Yes, and so if you put your hand around the bowl, you actually feel the vibrations. And that is what helps to reset our body, because our body tries to become in harmony with its environment, and the sound itself is nurturing to us.
Now let's talk about some of these tuning forks. I think I've seen this in the chiropractor's office. Is that correct?
I don't know whether the chiropractors use tuning forks. This one here is a 128 auto, and this is weighted, so there is actually no sound emitted. But when you use this one, you would tap it and then you put it down and you feel the actual sound vibrations.
Now, what type of medical conditions can benefit from sound therapy? So sound therapy can be used to reduce chronic pain, diminish stress. It is also used to alleviate depression and enhance or promote relaxation. Sound therapy has also been used for auditory processing disorders, as well as learning disabilities, psychological disorders, behavioral disorders, and acute anxiety disorders. This covers a lot.
Yeah, it does.
I think it probably just helps you focus in.
It does, it does. And it's, Sound therapy is used with acute conditions. Certain integrative doctors are using sound therapy and bowls and meditation with their cancer patients. So there is an oncologist who passed away, Dr. Mitchell Gaynor, who did tons of research and work with crystal bowls and using the crystal bowls as part of his practice for his cancer patients.
Now, how did you get into this line of work?
So I was taking my 500 yoga teacher training. So it's I had a 200 certificate and went for the 3. So it was a 300-hour program, and in that we had to choose a kind of a specialty, and I went into Nada Yoga, which is the focus of yoga as it relates with movement and sound. And so with that, I did a lot of research on different sound healing techniques incorporated in with the Nada Yoga.
Were you surprised at how well it works?
I was surprised because I use it a lot for meditation. And for me, I had a regular meditation practice, but I find that the sound really helps to ground me. And it's really, it enhances my meditation.
Well, this certainly is fascinating, and I know you have some workshops coming up in the area. How can people reach you if they want more information?
I can be reached at Namaste Yoga Studio. On the 3rd week of the month, we have 2 classes, a Monday and a Thursday night yin class, and we include bowls or tuning forks into the class, and allows us to go through a practice and incorporate the sound into the practice.
Well, it sounds like a lot of fun and very interesting. Thanks for being with us, Kris. We'll be right back with more Mind, Body, and Spirit.
Enroll, we say, we want you to be okay. Enroll, we say, take care of people for goodness sake. There's a plan for every budget, so don't accept defeat. Now you can get covered and still buy me treats.
You take care of your pets. Now it's their turn to take care of you. Visit getcoveredamerica.org to learn about your health insurance options.
I owe the existence of my family as it is today to our next guest. Vicki Porter is a court-appointed special advocate, also known as a CASA volunteer. She works as an advocate for foster children and led the way for my husband and I to adopt the 2 teens that we call our own today when she was assigned to their case. Welcome to the program, Vicki.
Thank you.
It's so great to have you here.
It's good to be here.
So before we get into our connection, can you share a little bit with our viewers, what is the CASA program and what do you do as a volunteer?
Well, the CASA program is, it's a court-appointed special advocate, as you had mentioned. And basically what we do is we are the go-between for between the court system and the caseworkers for the children, so that they don't get lost in the system. A CASA will help them make sure all their wishes are being taken care of, and to make sure that they're getting all their needs met at the foster facility.
So how important is a CASA to the actual foster child? What do they see you as?
We are the consistency for them. A lot of times what happens is a child may end up in a different foster home because it's better for them to be at a different location at that time. And so the CASA follows them until they either end up getting out of that court system. We try to reunite them with their families or get them, have the children get adopted. And so that's primarily our job.
Now, I know with my kids, you did a lot of special things for them. Is that normal for a CASA?
I think it was, I don't know. I think that I may take things a little bit to the extreme when I'm working with kids, but I've heard some great stories from other CASAs of different things that they do with them. So,
can you share with our audience what you did for my son who was just crazy about meteorology?
Oh, sure. When I first met Odin, he would tell me about his feelings and cloud formations and things, and I didn't even know what he was talking about. I had to look everything up every night when I would go leave him. And he just told me that he wanted to be a meteorologist. He was going to be the next Al Roker. And so I arranged for him to go onto a TV set and meet with his idol, who happened at the time was Betsy Kling. It still might be, I don't know.
It is.
Oh, okay.
Still likes her.
They just opened their arms and doors to him and actually let him perform and do a weather show on his own, and gave him a DVD of what it would be like to do the weather, and told him he had to get really good in science and math. And you know, it was just amazing to me because he knew every single person on that set, not only the people that were performing, but their families, if they mentioned their children or their wives, or if people were going through things, he knew everything about everybody. It was just phenomenal. It was a day we'll never forget.
And he's a big fan of Channel 3, so I'm not surprised that he knew everybody.
Yeah,
now, I know with me, as a CASA, you just showed up. You went to court. You were there at everything we needed you for. Is that normal for a CASA? Do you have to be available?
Well, you make yourself available, and before I had met you, I would go to the courts, and what they were doing is making sure that the case workers and their case in general was on track. All the needs were being met and everything was going through the flow. So when you wanted to go through that adoption thing, it was sort of the same thing. I was making sure that all of your needs were being met for them. So I felt obligated to do that, to make sure that everything went well.
And I didn't even know, you just showed up. I thought you worked for the county. I didn't even realize that volunteers existed like this. How did you find out about this program?
I found out about it. It's a crazy story, but I was homesick one day, caught it on a Dr. Phil show. Apparently he's a huge advocate for CASA, and was intrigued with the children that they had on the show, and talking about how these people had changed their lives and made it really good for them. So that's why I got involved in it. I just felt like I could make a difference in our community.
How do you handle it? Because I know that you have more than one case usually, and sometimes you may not want to leave the child where they're at, or you can only meet so many needs. How do you personally, emotionally handle that?
It's challenging sometimes, but we have a huge support system as a volunteer. The CASA office does so much for us, and we actually have people that we report to as a volunteer. And Sarah Noviks is my person, and she will help me. She kind of talked me through a lot of things when I was going through it. There's a lot of lines you can't cross, and you have to be very careful with what you're doing. And I just kept the kids in mind. That was how I managed it.
Now, what are you doing for your day job right now? Because I know you do this volunteer on the side, and you're a busy lady.
Well, oddly enough, my husband and I had just opened a franchise called Been There, Dump That. It's a fun name, but we're a residential friendly dumpster company. And I've been interviewing for positions, and I'll be starting with Nordic Corporation on May 2nd as a sales manager there. So I'm very excited about that.
So you have someone with your own business and sales, a little bit of a flexible job might be ideal for someone wanting to be a CASA.
Exactly, but you could work a 40-hour week or a 50-hour week. You only have to visit with the children once a month and meet them in their foster care facility or at the school or on a Saturday at an event or something like that. So you pretty much work around, they work around your schedule, and they'll meet you whenever it's convenient for you. So I used to visit Eden and Odin sometimes at 7 o'clock at night at the foster care home, so I could finish my day's work and then go there and spend time with them.
And one last question I want to ask you is, was this what you expected? Did it change you in any way?
Oh, it changed me. I thought I was going to be giving back to the community doing it, and I can't even begin to tell you what I have gotten out of working with these kids. They're so appreciative, and they have taught me so much. And I believe I'm a different person today because of it. The kids really make you think about what's going on, and when you see things through a child's eyes, it's always refreshing. They always keep you on your toes and, you know, make sure that everything is right with the world. But they're so resilient. It's amazing to me. But I would never, I don't think I could ever repay this program that I volunteer for what it has given back to me.
And how can people get more information? Should they call Summit County Children's Services?
That would be an excellent place to start.
All right, thank you so much, Vicki. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Karen.
We'll be right back with more Mind, Body, and Spirit. Eating fresh organic produce is good for your body, and if you purchase it at Hattie's Organic Garden in Akron, it's also good for your soul. Overseeing the crops at this local nonprofit are adults with disabilities. Hattie's Garden is part of Hattie Larlam, a work training program for those with intellectual and developmental disabilities. And joining us today is Zac Rheinberger, Director of Food Operations. And welcome to the program, Zac.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
So for our viewers who may not be familiar with your organization, can you tell us a little bit about the history and the services you offer?
Sure. Hattie Larlam originally started in 1961. It predates any government board for developmental disabilities or any funding throughout the government. Hattie herself was a nurse at a local hospital, and she started in the beginning taking in children that the hospital at the time deemed unsalvageable. So she would bring them into her farmhouse and care for them. It was a very forward-thinking, progressive, caring person, and everything that we do now kind of stemmed from what Hattie's does, and that original thought process is carried through our entire organization.
Now, I know you have a lot of services. How did you come up with the idea for an organic garden and employing clients there?
Sure. Well, we think the organic gardening, the local food movement in general, is something that's very big. It's not just a flash in the pan or a fad. It's something that's here to stay. Northeastern Ohio in general was one of the largest hothouse producers in the country, all the way up until World War II, and one of the largest agricultural producers in our region. Right now, 90% of the food we grow in Ohio leaves the state before any of us even see it. So we thought for this emerging economy and the fact that so many local farms are coming online and so many farmers markets, that it would be a great opportunity to train people to work in this industry. But we also found it to be quite nice for imparting skills for jobs, soft skills, showing up to work on time, motor skills, planting, and learning about food and nutrition and where it comes from is very important and something that's kind of lost in our society as a whole.
And I know you share this with the public because you have now a CSA that people can purchase some great produce from. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. Off our 6-acre organic farm in Bath Township, as well as the 1-acre organic farm that we have within the city of Akron in partnership with the Akron Zoo, we offer a CSA program. So essentially you can buy a full share or a half share and pick up either every week or every other week, and you can get an entire box chocked full of locally grown food, organically grown, through our training program.
Now, is it lettuce, tomatoes, eggs? What type of things would come in a box?
Sure. Yeah, lettuce, tomatoes. We grow everything organic and heirloom, so it's a lot of the things that would have been grown here a long time ago. You'll get a lot of specialty lettuces, heirloom tomatoes, cucumbers, celeries, herbs. We do have some chickens, so there'll be some eggs available every now and then as well. But just a whole host and variety of awesome produce.
How many people do you employ there?
On the farm itself, we employ about 24 people in our training program, and then we have about 6 or 7 other people that help guide them through the training program and work on the farm as well.
How has this changed the lives of those who started working on the farm?
Dramatically. It really has. Individuals that did not know how to garden, did not know how to grow, didn't have any connection with their food, have really taken to it. We have several people that we're going to be helping start their own small little farms and sell produce directly to the public. That's part of our partnership with the Akron Zoo. A lot of the lots in the neighborhood that we're working with the Akron Zoo on, we're going to start small micro enterprises so that we can help the people in our farming program take that knowledge into the private sector and grow their own food. And a lot of the people in our program have started growing food at home too.
Now, I know besides the CSA, you also have something called the Food Hub. Can you tell where the produce goes? Can you tell us a little bit about that and how people can get to it and what's offered there?
It's our newest addition to our training program in supporting this local agricultural food movement. The Food Hub itself is located on Cedar, right off of Exchange, Copley area, right by the Akron Zoo. It's going to be a small retail market, much like you would imagine a neighborhood grocery store to be 50 to 80 years ago. When you walk into the facility itself, it'll be like walking into a grocery store. We'll have local lettuces, local fruits, also things that everybody wants, oranges, avocados, things that we don't grow in Northern Ohio yet. Although as a point of interest, we do have 3 banana trees on our farm in Bath Township.
That's awesome. How do they taste? Have you tasted? Had you have any yet?
I haven't had any yet. Yeah, we just got them last year and they've been in our greenhouses growing, but I definitely plan on having a banana this year.
So any other places the produce goes besides the CSA, besides the Food Hub?
Sure. Well, when the produce comes into the Food Hub, we clean it and prepare it for retail for the customers, but then we also take it and we add our own level of processing to it on a local level so that we can supply people in the Akron area. We're working with the Akron Public Schools to supply some of their food service programs in a cluster of schools to integrate some local food into what they serve the children, as well as we work with several restaurants in the area. So the food comes into the Food Hub and can really be purchased by the public and also go out to other partners that we have in the community that will also be using our food and purveying it.
Now, your background in food operations, you could probably do this anywhere. Has working with this population changed you in any way?
Dramatically, yes. Working with this population has changed me dramatically. Individuals with developmental disabilities tend to have a certain amount of, sometimes they have health problems associated with some of the disabilities they have. Getting fresh local food, learning how to use it, how to prepare it, just creates a healthy environment. It creates a good all-around person. We've had people that have come into our farming program that have lost incredible amounts of weight. Their skin has gotten brighter. They've just perked up. It's amazing to watch somebody come into a program and kind of be sluggish and not know what's going on with local food or have that connection, and then they can leave our program in a couple years and you can really, not just when you talk to someone, but you can visibly see the difference in the individual.
As we said, it's good for the body and the soul.
Most certainly.
How can people reach you if they want information on the CSA, the Food Hub, or if maybe they want to volunteer?
Definitely go to hattielarlam.com. We have all of our services, all the contact information on our website, so you can pretty much get a hold of anybody you want through any program.
Thank you so much. It was so nice to meet you.
Very nice to meet you.
We'll be right back with more Mind, Body, and Spirit.
They said I have troll teeth.
That my voice sounded like a possessed baby doll.
That no one would ever love someone as stupid as me.
That I was fat, ugly.
Disgusting.
The effect of bullying is potent.
We will no longer be the silent majority.
Now, when you see online bullying, there's something you can do about it.
We're gonna take action with the I.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness, and so are you.
In today's Health Tips segment, since it's National Soy Foods Month, I thought I would talk about the health benefits of soybeans. Compared to other beans, soybeans are very high in protein and fiber and lower in carbohydrates, and for this reason, they're often an ingredient in many low-carb recipes. Edamame, the green ones are probably the ones you're most familiar with, are immature soybeans. Those are the ones that come in the pea pods, or you can buy them shelled. White and black varieties are the mature beans. Now, on average, per cup, soybeans have about 22 grams of protein, 14 grams of fiber, and 16 grams of carbohydrate. As a comparison, a cup of regular black beans has 14 grams of protein, 12 grams of fiber, and 36 grams of carbohydrates. Also, unlike other beans, soybeans are actually a complete protein, which means that they contain all the essential amino acids just like animal protein does. And so for this reason, they're a really popular choice with anyone following a vegetarian or vegan diet. Now, in regards to soy food, as a dietitian, I'm often asked if there is a connection between consuming soy food and increasing your risk for breast cancer. According to the American Institute of Cancer Research, over overall, human studies show no link, and in some cases, consuming 1 to 2 servings of soy per day may lower your risk for some cancers. And what they consider a serving would be a cup of soy milk, a half a cup of cooked soybeans, or an ounce of soy nuts. Now, that being said, most of the research on the link between cancer and soy intake has been done in Asian populations, because in the United States we simply don't take in as much of the same soy products and as much as they do in the Asian countries. So one thing you need to remember as Americans, if we want to get the same health benefits that are seen in Asian populations, we want to consume soy in the same way, and that is with very little processing. So we want to eat the whole beans, the tofu, the fermented products, not the ones that are overly processed. Now, to get a breast cancer benefit, current studies show it's important to be consuming moderate amounts of soy in childhood and then to carry that throughout adulthood. Also, there is some good news for women in menopause. Some studies show consuming soy, a few servings per day, may reduce your hot flashes and make you feel a little bit better. And because soybeans are very high in fiber, the American Institute of Cancer Research found convincing evidence that they also may help lower your risk for colon cancer. So you may be wondering, how do I use a soybean? I have some recipes that I tried out myself. You can search the internet and there are just dozens and dozens of recipes. This is one of my favorite here. It's called edamame hummus. And what I did is I took 2 cups of edamame, the shelled green soybeans, cooked them and threw them in a Vitamix, or you can use a food processor, with 1/8 of a cup of olive oil, some tahini, lemon juice, garlic, cumin, salt, and you just blend it all up and it tastes fabulous. And as a matter of fact, my daughter, who is a very picky eater, absolutely loved this. You can use it as a dip, you can use it as a spread. The advantage is it's very, very high in protein, a little bit lower in carbs, and has a little more fat than other beans, so it will leave you with a great sense of fullness. Another way to simply use soybeans is in a soybean salad. And you can do as I have done here. I took some corn, some green soybeans, and you can even use black soybeans with some cherry tomatoes, some green onions, tossed them together, and I made my own marinade. My husband, who is not a big vegetable eater, actually asked for seconds for this dish, and I attribute it to the dressing I put on it. I used 5 tablespoons of red wine vinegar, 3 tablespoons of grapeseed oil, 1/3 cup chopped cilantro, and a little bit of salt and sugar, whisked it up, and I marinated it. It tastes fabulous. Search the internet. There are a ton of recipes using soybeans, so you can eat it as a whole food item. And if you'd like more information, just simply search the American Institute of Cancer Research. They have a website online that tells you all about what are the best foods to consume to reduce our cancer risk. So that's it for today. Thank you for joining us. My name is Karen Kawolics, reminding you to eat more whole food, keep moving, and stay positive. We will see you next time.